Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Chrisley Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show in the world, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us a part of your day.
And we also have joining us the director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? Mr. John Schnapp.
What's going on, everybody? Hey.
All right, we are just a little over a month away from XMen Days of Future Past hitting AMC theaters, and yesterday Fox dropped the final trailer for the film. You can find a link to the trailer in the video description below. John, what did you think of the new XMen Days of Future Past trailer?
Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. Look, let's give this disclaimer, as I love to give disclaimers about trailers. So, you know, when a trailer comes out now and I think it sucks, I say, remember, this movie could still be great. Just because the trailer's bad doesn't mean anything. X-Men Days of Future Past could suck. Let's keep that in mind. This movie could suck. So my comments and my reaction right now is strictly based on the trailer I just saw. And dear heavens, I mean, what did Will Ferrell say? Like with Odin's Crow or something like that, whatever. Odin's Raven. That trailer is awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to put a link to the trailer if you haven't seen it in the show notes here in a little bit. But my goodness, that scene of Magneto in the middle of the ballpark and just ripping down the ballpark and you know, even Quicksilver. I wish I had never seen any of those Quicksilver pictures before. I wish this trailer had been my first introduction to the character. Because if I had not known he was going to be there, and I was watching the trailer and you see Wolverine walk, I know a guy, and he's walking up to a house, and you see Maximoff on the mailbox. And it's like that was actually pretty cool. Yeah. I love the chemistry. For the short amount of time that we saw it, but the chemistry between Beast and Wolverine was really cool. I really like the tone of that conversation between Xavier and Wolverine near the beginning. Yeah. I am curious how Charles is walking in the past. So they're gonna have, obviously the movie's gonna have something to explain that because he was shot at the end of the X-Men First Class. I loved this trailer. I can't think of a single thing about it other than I would have liked to have seen a little more Peter Dinklage. But they showed us a few more extended shots of that opening battle with Iceman going around. You know, you had
Colossus.
Oh my, diving at that thing. So good. Yeah. I am so stoked for this movie. Please don't suck, because now I'm getting into Phantom Menace kind of excitement. Well, no, nothing will touch my excitement for Phantom Menace when it was first coming out. But like, we're really on the edge here that this could totally break my heart because my enthusiasm is getting so high for this right now. Anyway, Schnapp, you saw the trailer for the first time this morning. What did you think?
I was blown away, and I watched both versions. They have the regular U.S. version, and then they have the international version, which are and they show a lot of different footage. Usually, when they do the international versions, they're like maybe 5-10 seconds longer, and switch out 1 or 2 shots. There's entire sequences that are in the international version that are different than the regular version. Both versions are incredible. And now I'm super excited about this movie. You know, I was on the fence about it, and I was like, Singer, Jack the Giant Killer, Bryan Singer. I don't know what he's got to offer right now, but I think redemption is coming for Bryan Singer, at least for me. I was like, wow, every scene felt good. And I love the way it just felt like X-Men and X2, the way Wolverine was directed, and the way I felt Bryan Singer's touch on this film in those trailers and in the sequences. Just the way Hugh Jackman was acting, everything felt right. Yeah. All the action scenes look incredible. It looks, and from this new trailer, you can kind of piece together a little bit more of the story and how it's going to flow. And it looks exciting. I can't wait to see this film. Quicksilver was great. I didn't expect to even like the scenes where you're like, oh my God, he's like a kid who's like, you know, a collector. He's got Pong. He's got, you know, so it makes sense that he has that garish silver jacket. And it just looks like he has fun running really fast and, you know, causing problems. He's like, oh, I know a guy. So he's a troublemaker. So everything about this trailer, I think I watched it like 6 times. And then I was like, what? The international version? This was at 2 in the morning. I was like, what are you trying to do to me, Singer? Like dropping it all late. I don't know. So I can't wait to see this movie now. It just went all the way up.
Yeah, I think the big question that you and I have both been asking, actually, going into this X-Men thing has been, what Bryan Singer are we going to get? Are we going to get the Jack the Giant Slayer Bryan Singer, or are we going to get the usual suspects, X-Men 1, X-Men 2 Bryan Singer? The trailers, at least, for this feel, I mean, we all knew from the trailers to Jack the Giant Slayer that movie was going nowhere.
Yeah.
But the trailers for this, it really does feel like he's got that essence of the first two X-Men movies back. I'm stoked. And once again, I'm not losing my mind here in the sense that, oh, now I can guarantee this movie's going to be awesome. It could suck. And right now, my expectations are way too high now. I'm almost guaranteed to be disappointed walking out of the theater. But I got to tell you, I'm very happy with this trailer, very excited for it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The on-screen comedy team of Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are getting back together again for the upcoming film Border Guards. The film follows Ferrell and Reilly as two friends who decided that it's in America's best interest that they go to work patrolling the U.S.-Mexico border. They wind up getting trapped in Mexico, however, and have to sneak their way back to the States. Adam McKay is also set to direct. Schnepp, will you be looking forward to Border Guards?
I certainly will be looking forward to Border Guards. I wonder, though, I mean, because, like, McKay has been really vocal about, like, I'm going in a different direction.
That's a great picture, by the way.
I know, right?
I love that picture.
But both sweaty. They've been up for 24 hours. There they are. Yeah, McKay's been talking about, like, I want to go in a different direction. I'm not going to do an Anchorman 3. I'm going to try some different stuff. So I really wonder what the tone of this is going to be. Obviously, it's got the Step Brothers back together with Ferrell and McKay, inseparable. So... But what kind of comedy is it going to be? That's my interest in it. I want to see it. I don't want to see like a goofy comedy. I'd love to see like something a little bit more, and I think that's what McKay is going to deliver. So that's why I'm into it.
I am so excited for this for a couple of reasons. One is that I mean I liked Talladega Nights. I did. I liked it, but I wasn't over the moon about it. But Step Brothers to me, and I know a lot of people didn't even like Step Brothers, and that's cool. Will Ferrell, that style comedy is certainly not for everybody. But for whatever reason, it's hard for me to imagine a movie in the last 5 or 6 or 7 years that has made me just flat out laugh that hard. Like every single 2-minute frame of that 2-minute block of time in that movie had something that had me almost spitting my food up. I mean, I love that, and I love the chemistry between these two guys, and I'm really excited to see them back. You mentioned, of course, McKay. These two with McKay, who also directed them in Step Brothers and Talladega Nights, this is a winning combination to me. Yeah. So you could almost throw up any scenario. You could say blah, 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 played by Will Ferrell, meets blah, 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 John C. Reilly, and they blah, 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 until they realize blah, blah, blah. And I'm in. Totally in. So until they prove it other. And don't get me wrong, there are Will Ferrell movies that I've seen that I have not liked.
Yeah.
A couple of them will come to mind, but paired with John C. Reilly, I'm on board.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Chris Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Sometimes I have to quickly get out of the chat board and back to the news. All right, as most of you know, production has already resumed on Fast and Furious 7 following the tragic passing of Paul Walker. Now, Universal has put out a press release revealing that 2 of Walker's brothers, Caleb and Cody, are helping with the film. Part of the statement said the following: "We have resumed shooting and now welcome Paul's brothers, Caleb and Cody, into our Fast family. Caleb and Cody are helping us complete some remaining action for their brother and fill in small gaps left in the production. Having them on set has made us all feel that Paul is with us too." John, buy or sell Caleb and Cody helping with the completion of Fast and Furious 7.
I'm going to sell it, and here's why. I think it's a really nice gesture, if anything else, and really that's the best word you can use for gesture by Universal to have his brothers involved with it. That's great. And I like that, and I applaud that. At the same time, I'm a little turned off that they put it in a press release. I don't know why, and maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe I'm just being far too pessimistic, but to me, when you put it in a press release, say, look guys, it makes it feel what could have been a really nice gesture. Suddenly it has a little bit of a stink of a publicity stunt to it, and that kind of turns me off a bit. Like I said, maybe I'm just being way too jaded or whatever. I'm happy that we got, Walker's brothers in there. I would have been happy too if it was just, close friends of Walker, whatever. It was just this idea of them publicizing it and putting it out in a press release. just turns me off a bit, and maybe I'm just being too pessimistic. Well, how do you see it?
Well, I'm going to buy it. Maybe a little too pessimistic. I think, a press release is always self-serving in a certain sense, but I think in this case, they're saying it's more for the whole crew and the cast. I think the cast probably feels a lot better having Walker's brother being a stand-in as opposed to like some stuntman. You know what I mean? So I think it's helping the whole crew and the cast finish the film, honoring Paul Walker's memory by keeping it in the family, so to speak. And I think a press release on this specific topic isn't a self-serving press release. I think it's sort of a look, we figured out how to do this and to move on through this tragedy. I don't think they're going to keep making hype about it. I think they're just letting people know this is how we're dealing with it. There'll be some composite and stunt doubles and some 3D stuff, but the close-ups are being played by his actual brothers. So
I like the way you're looking at it. But when you see this picture, I mean, I've seen pictures of the brothers before. Man, the one really does. The one and Paul really do look a lot alike, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They look really familiar. Very similar.
All right, what's next?
A release date has just been announced for the upcoming sequel, Magic Mike XXL. The film will hit AMC theaters on July 3rd, 2015. Greg Jacobs, longtime assistant director to the originals, Steven Soderbergh, will direct, and although no announcements have been made, most of the original cast is expected to return. Schnepp, buy or sell this release date for Magic Mike XXL.
I guess I'm going to have to see the first Magic Mike.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry. I'm just, it just didn't really appeal to me. I know Channing Tatum and McConaughey are in it. I just didn't want to see a film about Chippendales dudes dancing around. I heard it's really good, though. Soderbergh made it, so it's on my list to see. They're making a sequel. I have to bite the bullet and watch it eventually. So, yeah, you know what? I'll hesitantly buy it since I didn't see the original. And I know a lot of people really loved it, so I'll give it a shot.
I'm going to sell it, but here's the thing. This is the reason why I'm selling it. I was pleasantly surprised by Magic Mike when I saw it because it was not the film I was expecting it to be, because they really do. The marketing campaign for Magic Mike was a lot like the marketing campaign for Coyote Ugly. And I thought we were just getting a male dancer's version of Coyote Ugly, right? But I should have known better because Steven Soderbergh's directing it. I should have known there would be something more to it. And so I was pleasantly surprised by it. That being said, the reason I'm going to sell it is summer 2015 for a film like this. I mean, I understand the whole idea of counter marketing. So, you're going to have a lot of stuff out there for the teenage guys and, emotionally teenage guys who are going to go out and see a lot of movies. Having something out there for the ladies to bring their guys along to, maybe that makes sense. But for me, it feels like a risky move, so I'm going to hesitantly sell it.
As the only girl here at AMC Movie Talk, I'm going to say that I am going to enthusiastically buy this movie. I thought the first one was so much fun, and you didn't just have to be a girl to like it, and it wasn't just about boys being naked and dancing. It was just a lot of fun to watch, so I'll be the one that enthusiastically buys it.
One of the things that's going to be interesting to see, though, like no casting has been confirmed. We know Channing Tatum's going to be back. Alex Pettyfer, I think his star has burned out, so I think he'll probably be back for the paycheck. What's going to be interesting, though, is if Matthew McConaughey, now who is the king of Hollywood apparently overnight, will he be back? Because some people can make an argument that one of his performance in the first Magic Mike, which I can't remember if it got a Golden Globe nomination or not. It might have actually, if not, there was talk of him getting a Golden Globe nomination for his performance in that.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it really reintroduced people to a lot of, now, some guys like me had been saying McConaughey is awesome all along, but this was a movie that a lot of people started to recognize him in, again, for his incredible talent. Maybe that will endear him to want to come back for Magic Mike 2. I hope he does.
All right, guys. Well, speaking of Mr. Channing Tatum, in a recent interview, the actor confirmed that he and X-Men producer Lauren Shuler Donner have indeed met and had discussions about Tatum playing the character Gambit in the near future. Tatum said the following: "He's the most un-X-Men X-Man that's ever been in X-Men, other than maybe Wolverine, who's like the anti-hero. He's a thief. He's not even a hero. He's kind of a walking the line of gray. He loves women and drinking and smoking and stuff, so he's just a cool guy who happens to have a moral center. I hope it comes together. You never know. It's a weird industry. If the stars align, I would die to play it. I'm already working on the accent. It's crappy at the moment." John, buy or sell the notion that we will see Channing Tatum playing Gambit in the future of X-Men film?
Well, let's keep this in mind. I mean, we've got Bryan Singer already dropping hints that we're going to see Gambit in Apocalypse. We got the producer who's been involved in the casting of all the X-Men films saying a number of months ago that she would like to get a Channing Tatum. Now we got Channing Tatum saying, yeah, I'd like to do it, and I've been in talks with her about it.
Right.
I don't know how you don't buy this, that this will probably happen. I haven't seen. Now, I'm still a guy who believes Taylor Kitsch could have been a very good Gambit. I think he's a nice fit for a character like Gambit. I just think they horribly misuse the character in X-Men Origins Wolverine, right? And so maybe, they want to change the casting of it to get rid of the stench of that film, and I understand that that's cool. My preference would still be to see Taylor Kitsch return. However, that being said, I've been warming up to Channing Tatum over the last couple of years because I've thought he was horrible for a very long time, just a horrible actor. And then he started to find his stride with comedy to the point that I thought this is one of the most naturally gifted comedic timing guys I've seen in film in a while. And so now I'm kind of on board, and to see that he's enthusiastic about it, maybe they take a little bit of a different take on him, I'm going to buy it. So, Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think when Channing Tatum first came along, he was in G.I. Joe, he was kind of wooden. I mean, I think it just took a little bit of time for him also to get into actually really acting and find where he can act as,
it has
as
taken
an
him
actor.
years.
Yeah. So he's there now. I loved him in 21 Jump Street. I can't wait for 22 Jump Street. I think his comic timing and his sensibility. He was great in This Is the End.
Oh, no, my God. Which shows you, too, that he's got Channing Tatum has no shame.
They're fearless.
He's fearless when it comes to comedy, and he'll do it. And that just makes me really like him. It makes me enjoy that thing about him.
Yeah, so him saying he's going to play Gambit, I mean, it's pretty much, they're pretty much announcing a Gambit solo film by him letting that go, and I'm working on the accent. I've met with, I think, Laura Donner. All these things. Everyone's been dropping it. Like, hey, we're gonna do a couple of solo X-Men movies as well. Depending on how this X-Men movie comes, I think this X-Men movie is going to be a giant hit. Days of Future Past.
I'm starting to think so.
If if that trailer is saying anything, I might be seeing it twice in one day. Like what? Blink opening something, Colossus jumping through. That's like right out of comic books.
Yeah.
So. And it's shot so well. I can't help but be excited about it right now. Don't fail me, Singer! There's a lot of sweaties all waiting for this. This has got to be good. The X-Men movies have been like, X-Men First Class was really good. It was a good reboot. Who would have thought? I was like, this seems kind of weird. And that was like one of my favorite X-Men movies, way better than X-Men Origins. So that's why Taylor's out, because of the X-Men Origins, all those characters. The girl who played Diamond Girl, I can't even remember her name.
She was gone.
Her name's not Diamond Girl, I know that.
No. But she's gone, and a whole bunch of
the Ice Queen.
Place,
I can't believe it. My brain is frozen. She froze my brain. So anyway, it's a different actress. To have Channing Tatum play Gambit, I think is a great thing, and I hope it's a solo movie that integrates into Apocalypse. That would be awesome.
All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. Look, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, for those of you who are watching us live, you can tweet in right now some questions to @AMC Movie News, because at the end of the show, we leave a little bit of time just to take your live questions via Twitter. So you can send some questions in on Twitter right now. But for now, it's time for Mailbag. So, Crystalie, what do we got?
Daryl Peace writes, in the new X-Men trailer, we get to see Anna Paquin's name at the end credits. Does that mean Rogue's in the film?
As a matter of fact, Anna Paquin is back in the film. Now, there was a story going around for a while. Remember, she shot a number of scenes. We saw her in the first teaser trailer that came out. Then Bryan Singer came out and announced she's actually been edited out of the film, which means she wasn't in it much. And they decided they didn't need those scenes, and she just happened to be in those scenes. Then she was out. And then we saw those Empire Magazine covers. Remember that a few weeks ago?
Right.
Where it's like 20 Empire Magazine covers, and one of them was Rogue. And it's like, have they put her back in? And apparently Bryan Singer has confirmed that the Anna Paquin scenes are back in the film now. So we are going to see, and you're right, very observant of you, Cher. Her name shows up in that credit tile that comes up. So Anna Paquin is back as Rogue. She will be in there. But just remember, it's going to be, as it always has been, it was going to be a very, very small part.
Did Singer say he put those scenes back in? Because I remember the reason they cut them out was because they were derivative. And now in that newest trailer, we saw they're breaking Magneto out of prison. And her scenes were breaking Magneto out of prison. So I thought that's why they were like, we have a double beat, is what they call it. Such a similar storyline that we're going to, one is rubbing against the other one, let's lose one. Is that possible?
Apparently Hollywood Reporter confirmed
Wow.
with him that she's back in.
Right on.
So there we go. All right, what's next?
Darren Yap writes, "Hi AMC crew, love the show, keep up the good work. What do you guys think of plot twist? Is it necessary in movies? Do you guys like it? Sometimes I believe directors try too hard to put in a twist, like M. Night Shyamalan."
It's
Thoughts?
Shamhammer. We were both
okay.
looking at the picture that
It
Ray
was so
created.
hard
It's
for
like,
me not
it's
to say
Shamhammer.
Shamhammer. So hard.
See, so yeah, plot twists can be really annoying, actually, especially when they're plot twists just for the sake of a plot twist. Like, two of the ultimate plot twists in film history. Now, I'm not saying the absolute two, but two of the best ones ever. You're looking at Sixth Sense and the aforementioned Usual Suspects. And one of the great things about those, what made those plot twists work, is that they fed into the story overall. Like, you get to the end and you realize that thread, that revelation, that twist at the end, now you see the thread of it that runs throughout the entire film.
Right.
Whether it's, Kim sort of walking away and suddenly start walking normally, and then
Kaiser
you're like,
Soze!
"Oh my God,
Yeah.
it's Kaiser
Right.
Soze!" Or the Bruce Willis revelation, and then
Right.
suddenly you're going through all the rest of the film. That thread made sense. A lot of films, though, including Shamhammer has done this himself, have thrown in plot twists that are just there for the sake of being a twist, and it doesn't feel like it fits in with what the rest of the narrative has been or whatever. So, I'm all for plot twists, provided that they are really well thought out and they play in logically to the rest of the narrative. And honestly, more times than not, I find that they don't. But on the few times that they do, you got a really special movie on your hand when that happens. So anyway, Schnepp, what do you think about plot twists?
Yeah, as long as they're done right, like you mentioned, Sixth Sense. Like I went into the movie clean with no spoilers, so that surprise at the end, to me at least, was like, wow, I didn't see it coming. There's plot twists that you could call, like, to me, the worst two are, it was all a dream.
Yeah.
Or we've all been dead.
Yeah.
We're all ghosts. And like, for me, that was the killer one for, to talk TV, Lost.
Yeah.
It was both. It was like, we're all dead and it was a dream. It was like, sold my DVDs the next day. I literally was so angry. So, I mean, that happens a lot in films too. They'll do a plot twist for me, like maybe Fatal Attraction. They're like, the ending didn't, it ended in such a pat way. Let's go back, reshoot it, and she's not dead yet. She's coming at him with a knife, So that's not as much of a plot twist as it is like an extended ending, like a twist. But, plot twists when they're done right work. When they don't, it's Shamhammer.
And I think people are too liberal with their use of the term plot twist. I don't think every plot device and every plot turn is a plot twist.
Right.
To me, a plot twist is when something is introduced into the film that changes your entire perception of the story and the narrative as a whole up until that point. And not just, this is a new turn in the story. That's different from a twist.
Right.
All right, folks, well, we said we'd leave a little bit of time at the end here to take your questions live on the chat board, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So if you've got a question you want to ask and you've got a Twitter account, tweet to us at AMC Movie News. Crystal Lee is our gatekeeper. She will choose what gets asked. So, Crystal Lee, what do we got? She's laughing already.
I've been going back and forth on the chat board with everybody today, and everybody's been a lot of fun, so sorry. Michael Ray Miller wants to know, who do you guys see as the next Steven Spielberg?
Wow, I mean, it's hard not to say certain names, like whether it's a possibility, Christopher Nolan. I'm not going to say Zack Snyder. I'm not going to say, well, a number of guys I'm not going to say. But Christopher Nolan's really, really good. Soderbergh, once he stops pretending that he's retired, is really David Fincher. Could go. David Fincher's still really young.
Right.
Who are some names that pop into your head?
That's to me, there is no other Steven Spielberg. So
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it's
unfortunately for me, I don't have a name that pops in my head. I was like just thinking about even Nolan. It's like, yeah, he's got about 5 films and he's produced 2 films. At his age, where Spielberg was at where Nolan is now, he's directed like 15 films and had produced like 4 television series and 10 movies. So you can't really, there is no other Steven Spielberg. Love him or hate him, that guy is a monster as far as making films, quality films, different kinds of films, totally different genres. He's done all of them. So, I mean, I really can't say that he's in a comparable bracket. He's just like Spielberg.
No, you're right. It's hard because Spielberg, you're talking about a guy who, we say this all the time, but the diversity of his films too. This is the guy, and you're talking about some of the all-time great Hollywood movies, whether it's Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T.,
Close Encounters.
Close Encounters. Then you get the more modern era with kind of things where you're talking about
Lincoln, The Color Purple.
Lincoln, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, it's just the list goes literally. It goes on
AI.
and on and on
Minority
and
Report,
on
yeah.
and on. And he's done comedy, he's done fantasy, he's done action, he's done genre, he's succeeded in all of them. And a guy like Christopher Nolan hasn't done that yet.
No.
A Christopher Nolan film is very much a Christopher Nolan film, you know? And that's not a bad thing. It's just,
Right.
you know, you can tell Martin Scorsese film is very much a Martin Scorsese kind of film.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see when we can get another director who can do everything excellently.
You mentioned Scorsese. He's in a bracket unto himself, but he's close to
True.
Spielberg because he's produced a lot of television shows.
Yeah.
He's taken on like the Martin Scorsese Presents, like bringing in some films from overseas, getting people more aware of certain smaller films. So he's doing
He's
that.
a giant.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he's a giant.
A lot of these guys, when you say who's the next, you know, blah blah blah, like you might say, there is none. There is simply Martin Scorsese
Well, we've talked
or
about this
Spielberg.
before. Let's revisit this because maybe our answers will be different. About 5 or 6 months ago, somebody asked you and me the question: if there was a Mount Rushmore of directors,
right.
who would be on it? And I that may change from time to time. If I had to answer that right now, I would say Spielberg, Hitchcock, Scorsese, and either Coppola or Kubrick. I'm going to go Kubrick. So that would be my Mount Rushmore of directors right now. What would yours look like?
It can only be 4, right? Because they
Yeah,
never
it can't
finished
be.
the fifth
Yeah, I
one,
mean,
right?
I could list off 10, but
There should be
only
26 faces
Yeah.
on that mountain.
If there's that mountain of
yeah.
the ultimate standard of excellence in directing, whose faces are on there?
Orson Welles.
Oh, Orson Welles is a good one.
I would chuck. I'm not going to say Charlie Chaplin just because I don't rewatch as many. I loved every Charlie Chaplin film he's ever made, but do
Right.
I rewatch them all? No, I rewatch Wells's films. Kubrick, so I'll say Wells, Kubrick.
You don't put Spielberg on there?
You know, that's a tough one. I mean, every single Spielberg film, I grew up with Spielberg, so I could put him on there, but I'm also tempted to put on like a rogue director like David Lynch. You
Right.
know? So, and I'll do that. I'll say David Lynch, Spielberg, Wells, and Kubrick. So,
I mean, there's so many guys
Yeah.
who could be up there, right?
It's a real tough one. Yeah, Coppola is incredible. Cronenberg hasn't been that great for me the last couple films, but his early work just as far as
It's outstanding.
yeah. So
All right, what's
I
next?
now want to go home and watch Clockwork Orange so bad.
Right?
Okay, Brett Kogan wants to know, could you guys see Jared Leto playing the Joker or the Riddler?
I got to be honest with you. I don't really get into these questions too much of, could you see this actor play the Joker? I could see any actor play any role if they're good and they can
Right.
morph into it. So Jared Leto, sure, he's a great actor. So I could see him doing it. Would he be the best guy for it? I don't know. But we
Yeah.
didn't know that Heath Ledger would be the best guy for it either. So who knows? I mean, look, if I'm a producer and a casting director comes and I'm making a Batman film and I've got a Joker and a casting director came to me and said, okay, we were able to get Jared Leto.
yeah.
Am I happy? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
happy. It's a great name. But
Yeah.
anyway, what do you think?
Yeah, actually, it's funny because Dennis Zhang had mentioned something like on a post earlier somewhere. I remember it just popped into my head. He said, "Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch would be a good Joker because he has a long face." And I just remember he does. He has a long face, and so he kind of fits into that Jim Aparo drawing of the Joker, and you know. So I mean, yeah, the Joker can literally be played by any actor. I think any good actor, if they have a spin on the Joker and they're able to do it. And they're a good actor in the quality level, that we're used to. I wouldn't be afraid of any casting of the Joker, except like we've talked about, Gilbert Gottfried as the Joker. I don't know. What are you making here? I'd be worried. So.
All right, let's fire through a couple more.
Rodney Hurd wants you to get your Star Wars on because he wants to know what you all think is the best and worst lightsaber duel in the Star Wars saga.
Well, I mean, if you want to talk, it depends on best. If you want to talk best in terms of choreography, I think the Qui-Gon Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul fight was the best one. If you want to talk what was the best in terms of best to watch, most dramatic, brought you in, obviously it's the Luke versus Darth Vader in the Emperor's Chambers, right?
Yeah.
Because with the music and everything, that is just the most. And, a lot of people, one of the things, look, I'll talk openly about some of the things that I think were good about the prequels, even though as a whole they are human refuse.
Right.
I loved the Yoda lightsaber fight.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't like that he was a flipping ninja, but I thought, think about it. He's a tiny little thing. If he's going to fight full-size dudes, what does he have to have on his side? Agility, speed, dexterity, all that kind of stuff. He's got to have that.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, I got a big kick out of watching the Yoda fights in the prequels too.
Fighting the Emperor. I've rewatched.
That Emperor fight was pretty cool.
I've rewatched that sequence. Like the Emperor fighting Yoda was way better than Kenobi fighting Anakin Skywalker, jumping around on
that
lava,
fight was terrible.
floating on lava and stuff. I was like, I'm so bored. But Yoda fighting the cackling, weird electricity,
Throwing the things at him,
chucking,
yeah.
and a little baby Yoda trying to escape. You're like, don't. At least we knew Yoda was gonna live. It was like, I've already seen the future Star Wars. He's not gonna die. But you're still worried for him. He's going to get
But here's what kills me, though. I'm glad you brought up that fight, and we might have mentioned this before. That lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which is a lightsaber fight Star Wars fans had been waiting for decades to see, right? It was a terrible lightsaber fight. It was so ridiculous, but they're all over the place, right? They're fighting on mountainsides and this and in this thing here and up there, flipping around, blah, blah. And then Obi-Wan, they're standing on a slight slanty ground. Obi-Wan is standing about a foot higher and says, "Give it up, Anakin. I have the high ground."
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, are you effing kidding me?
Can't you jump like 600 feet with your force
I
powers?
have the higher ground.
Like, and they've shown Jedi could be like, I mean, Anakin could have literally been like right behind him while give it up. I have the like right behind him. They
Lightsaber through your stomach.
Yeah, super fast, insane fast running. Remember, Phantom Menace are like running around all quick.
I mean,
where did that flash power go?
Where did all this 15-foot spinning summer? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's take one more and we'll call it a day. I caught Chrisley off guard.
No! JC Collins wants to know, after Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, are we finally done with the Paranormal Activity series?
Nope, no. As long as these things cost $1.50 to make and they make them $100.
Yeah.
And if I'm the head of Paramount, I keep making them until people say, we're tired of seeing these, and we've said this before, how do the audience communicate to the studio with your dollars? So until the audience says to the studio, we're not interested anymore, then they're going to keep making them, and they should keep making them. Why not? Right. If people are still going, that means there are people who want to see it. Why not give it to them?
Yeah, so the marked one's like part 6 or something?
I can't remember. I've lost track.
They should make a 7, 8, and 9, just, literally, they could just drop them all. Like, every holiday they should have a paranormal Easter, paranormal Christmas. Yeah.
Paranormal Martin Luther King Day.
Paranormal Christmas activity. Like weird ghosts. It's near the Christmas tree. It'd be awesome.
All right, folks, that'll do it for us. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us today. Listen, don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, movie ticket information. And I want to let you know our newest edition of AMC Versus went online last night. So just go over to our YouTube channel and you'll find the newest edition of our AMC Versus, which was Han Solo or Indiana Jones, who's the best Harrison Ford character. You'll find the video there, and don't forget to click on the link that's in there so you can go and vote for who you think the winner of that should be. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, writer-director Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. And come to WonderCon in Anaheim. I'll be at Geekscape booth 203, or it's 208, one of those. Selling some special The Death of Superman Lives, What Happened exclusive posters. And then I'm on the Comics and on Comics panel at 7:30 on Saturday. So hope to see you there.
Our lovely host today, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram at Chrisley, and always in the chat board during the show.
And you can find me on the various social media networks, just at John Campia. So thanks a lot for joining us today, guys. It's been a lot of fun. So until next time, my name's AMC. My name's AMC for John Campia. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.